Malaysia and Brazil call for immediate and permanent ceasefire in Israel-Gaza war. Employment status to be included in designing new RON95 fuel subsidies distribution. Good evening and Salam Malaysia Madani. I'm Olivia Nicholas and you're watching Malaysia Tonight. Malaysia and Brazil stressed the urgent need for an immediate and permanent ceasefire to the ongoing conflict in Gaza. Prime Minister Dato Sri Anwar Ibrahim and Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva also demanded Israel to ensure unimpeded humanitarian assistance to Palestinians in the occupied Palestinian territory. Both leaders reaffirmed their support for the establishment of an independent and sovereign state of Palestine with East Jerusalem as its capital based on the pre-1967 borders. They also expressed their support for Palestine's full membership in the United Nations. The Israeli military kept up its military campaign in Gaza over the weekend. Gaza Civil Defense Agency said 34 people were killed, including children, and dozens were missing after an Israeli airstrike hit a 5-story residential building in Beit Lahia. The Health Ministry in Run Gaza on Sunday said the overall death toll is more than 13 months of war had reached 43,846. On another matter, Malaysians abroad are encouraged to continue supporting the government's efforts in implementing beneficial initiatives in the country. Dato Sri Anwar said the initiatives by the Madani government have shown significant changes to the nation.
We succeed because we work as a team. We succeed because we want to dismantle corrupt practices. The assumption that once you become leaders, you must enrich yourself, your family, your cronies. This must stop.
He made these remarks at a dinner attended by approximately 200 members of the Malaysian diaspora and Friends of Malaysia here on Sunday. He also touched on the series of visits to several countries which have had a positive impact, not only strengthening bilateral relations but also bringing economic benefits to the country and its people. Several pilot projects will be implemented to enhance Malaysia's flood management strategies in collaboration with the Netherlands under the Dutch Surge Support TSS scheme. Deputy Prime Minister Dato Sri Fadillah Yusof said these initiatives aim to help the country mitigate and reduce flood risk while strengthening its preparedness for future climate change impacts.
Currently, together with our counterpart, we are planning to implement several pilot projects stemming from our collaboration under the scheme. These initiatives are designed to enhance Malaysia's flood management strategies, helping us mitigate and reduce flood risks while strengthening our preparedness for future climate change impacts.
Dato Sri Fadillah, who is also the Minister of Energy Transition and Water Transformation, said this in his keynote address at the 7th Malaysia-Netherlands Water Dialogue today. Also present was the Ambassador of the Netherlands to Malaysia, Jacques Werner. Moving forward, Dato Sri Fadillah said the strategic initiatives discussed between the two countries will include the pilot projects and the comprehensive objectives of Malaysia's water transformation roadmap, AIR 2040. Employment status and number of dependents will be among cost of living indicators used to design a new distribution method of RON95 fuel subsidies. Deputy Domestic Trade and Cost of Living Minister Fuzia Saleh said that these indicators will be considered as aspects of a household's expenses. She said if targeted subsidy is implemented, it will undoubtedly have an impact on households that rely on RON95. Speaking in the Dewan Rakyat today, Fuzia added that the Basic Living Expenses Statistics (PAKW) and the Cost of Living Index (IKSH) developed by the Statistics Department (DOSM) will also incorporate such indicators.
Maksudnya kalau ada 2 kereta, kalau ada 2 orang bekerja, isteri bekerja, suami bekerja, kalau ada anak sekolah yang kecil, ya, yang pergi sekolah ataupun anak belajar di universiti, semuanya termasuk di dalam perkiraan indikator kos sara hidup tersebut.
Last week, Dawson introduced new statistics for cost of living indicators, including PAKW and IKSH, aimed at guiding policy planning and serving as a reference for the public to plan and manage their finances and expenses. The meeting of the Special Committee to tackle the Johor Causeway congestion today has agreed that the procurement for the use of a quick response QR code system for the border crossing with Singapore will be finalised this year. Home Minister Datuk Seri Saifuddin Nasution Ismail said that the decision was made following the proof of concept POC after a QR code system was implemented at the Sultan Iskandar Customs, Immigration and Quarantine Complex and the Sultan Abu Bakar Complex during the first phase. This focusing on Malaysian bus passengers and motorcyclists starting from 1st of June.
What's next? Kita akan perluaskan untuk mod pengangkutan yang lain. Jadi biar kita take off yang ini dulu. Okey, bila kita take off yang ini, kemudian barulah kita ke arah pelaksanaan QR code untuk mod pengangkutan, iaitu penumpang kereta persendirian dan sebagainya.
He told in a press conference after a meeting at Bukit Aman. The meeting was chaired by Deputy Prime Minister Dato' Sri Fadila Yusof and attended by Johor Menteri Besar Dato' On Hafiz Ghazi. Also attending the meeting was Communications Minister Fahmi Fadil and Deputy Inspector General of Police Dato' Sri Ayub Khan Maidin Piche. Dato' Sri Saifuddin added that the meeting also agreed to extend the use of the QR code system to other vehicle users in phases starting next year. Meanwhile, Dato' Sri Saifuddin said that based on the analysis from the use of the QR code system, it is estimated that over 2 million users per year will benefit during its implementation period. This initiative is expected to significantly reduce waiting times, especially during peak hours. He said during the meeting of the committee, which was established in 2019, a progress report on 52 initiatives aimed at reducing congestion at the Johor Causeway was presented, with 22 initiatives completed, 10 currently being implemented and 20 yet to be carried out. He noted that the meeting also included a report on the Johor-Singapore Special Economic Zone, where the Home Ministry functions as the regulatory agency to facilitate the movement of goods and people. The Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation, MOSTI, will step up efforts to diversify science, technology and innovation STI programs to encourage more students to pursue science streams in higher education. Minister Chang Ali Kang said the initiative was in line with the government's agenda to develop a skilled workforce as the country attracts more foreign investment in technology sectors. He said the government is prioritising technical and vocational education and training TVET with a focus on high-skilled TVET. As such, students must have a solid foundation in STI.
Ini juga selaras dengan agenda kerajaan di mana kita banyak menarik pelabur yang dalam bidang teknologi. So it is no more labor intensive industry. No more labor intensive investment, tetapi all this investment adalah high value dan juga high wage. So kita perlu setelah mendapat banyak pelaburan dari luar negara, kita perlu provide enough talent untuk industri inilah, supaya kita tidak lagi perlu bergantung pada tenaga kerja luar negara.
He was speaking to reporters after officiating the closing ceremony of the National Science Week, NSW Carnival and Malaysia Tech Olympics 2024 national finals today. Earlier in his speech, Chang said the online NSW program, which began in April and concluded in October, recorded nearly 2.4 million engagements nationwide. Sabah and Sarawak recorded low spending performance compared to their allocation of 6.67 billion ringgit and 5.81 billion ringgit respectively received under the 4th Rolling Plan RP4 of the 12th Malaysia Plan 12 MP as of October. Minister in the Prime Minister's Department, Federal Territories, Dr. Zaliha Mustafa said Sabah's spending performance stood at 46.7%, while Sarawak's was at 54.43%.
Tetapi yang ini juga sebenarnya turut menyumbang kepada kelewatan kerana kapasiti untuk pelaksanaan itu agak rendah, Yang Berhormat. Dalam hal ini, sebagai contoh di luar Persatuan sendiri, saya sendiri diberi tanggungjawab untuk mempengerusikan MTP-NG ini. Jadi maka saya boleh mengarahkan sebenarnya untuk melihat projek-projek yang bermasalah diberi keutamaan.
Speaking in the Dewan Rakyat today, Dr. Zaliha said steps have been taken to improve the implementation procedures of development projects in Sabah and Sarawak. This include recognizing the Public Works Department and the Irrigation and Drainage Department in both states as technical departments. Such recognition enables both departments to administer projects worth 50 million ringgit and below under Treasury Directive AP 182, which has been in effect since 1st of March 2023. Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva accepts Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim's invitation to attend 47th ASEAN Summit and related summit set to be held next year as the guest of the chair. Datuk Seri Anwar meanwhile expressed his gratitude to President Lula for the invitation to attend the G20 summit in Rio de Janeiro. Datuk Seri Anwar arrived in Brazil from Lima, Peru on Saturday for an official visit and as a guest country representative at the G20 alongside 16 other countries including Chile, Qatar, Egypt, Singapore, Spain, the United Arab Emirates and Vietnam. The Prime Minister was accompanied by Foreign Minister Datuk Seri Mohammed Hassan and Minister of Investment, Trade and Industry Tengku Datuk Seri Zafrul Aziz. This year marks the 65th anniversary of diplomatic relations between Putrajaya and Brasilia. In 2023, Brazil was Malaysia's 20th largest trading partner, 29th largest export destination and 17th largest import source. Among Latin American and Caribbean countries, Brazil is Malaysia's second largest trading partner, second largest export destination and largest import source. Meanwhile, Datuk Seri Anwar said Malaysia and Brazil are keen to jointly explore initiatives during Malaysia's ASEAN chairmanship next year, coinciding with Brazil's BRICS presidency and its role as the host of the 30th United Nations Climate Change Conference. Datuk Seri Anwar and Brazil President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva have also pledged to work together for a revitalized multilateral system based on the principles of the United Nations Charter and international law. Their commitment was stated in a joint statement issued after a bilateral meeting between both leaders on the sidelines of the G20 summit. Both leaders recognized the need for comprehensive reforms in global governance to make it more effective, transparent and accountable. Both leaders also supported bilateral and international efforts to promote a just and equitable energy transition. They also noted the importance of bilateral trade and mutual investment flows as vectors of development in both countries and recognized the need to diversify and further expand the volume of commerce. Up next in business, BMI raised Malaysia GDP growth forecast in 2025 to 4.7%. Stay with us. The Malaysian International Halal Showcase, MIHAS, after 20 years, made a major leap with its international debut in the United Arab Emirates, UAE, and aiming for 1 billion ringgit in export sales. Deputy Prime Minister Dato Sri Dr. Ahmad Zahid Hamidi said MIHAS at Dubai 2024 will feature 215 Malaysian companies, reflecting Malaysia's commitment as a key player in the rapidly growing global halal economy. Dato Sri Dr. Ahmad Zahid, who is also Malaysian Halal Council Chairman, said the UAE's significance to Malaysia's trade could not be overstated.
Significantly, the UAE emerged as the largest destination for Malaysian halal product among GCC countries. Thank you to UAE. UAE imports product from Malaysia, the halal product, at $256 million. This strong trade relationship between Malaysia and the UAE underscores the high demand and trust in Malaysia's premium halal product within the region.
He said this after officiating at MIHAS at Dubai 2024 today. Through a commitment to halal diplomacy, the Deputy Prime Minister said Malaysia seeks to strengthen international ties, create a dynamic halal ecosystem and establish strategic partnerships that advance shared goals. Malaysia had last year recorded $12.5 billion in halal exports, with MIHAS playing a critical role in unlocking even greater potential for the industry. BMI, a Fitch Solutions company, has raised its 2025 Malaysia gross domestic product GDP growth forecast to 4.7% from 4.6% previously. In a statement, BMI said the updated forecast would fall in the upper bound of the government's forecast range of 4 to 5%. Growth in Malaysia picked up faster than expected in the third quarter of 2024, prompting the company to revise 2024 forecast. The research firm noted that while fixed investment growth picked up to 15.3% year-to-year in the third quarter from 11.5% in second quarter 2024. The external outlook also improved, with export growth accelerating to 11.8% in the third quarter from 8.4% in the second quarter. BMI expects this momentum to persist in 2025 on the back of multi-year projects across the private and public sectors, such as the new Industrial Master Plan and National Energy Transition Roadmap, which will contribute to a higher realization of investments. The government, through the Ministry of Investment, Trade and Industry, MITI, will soon release the findings of a report examining the impact of excess capacity from China, particularly in the iron and steel sector. Deputy Minister Liu Chin Tong said the report was prepared by an independent committee set up by MITI. He added that the issue of Chinese manufactured products dumping driven by the country's economic slowdown, especially in the construction and real estate industries, is a concern not only for Malaysia but globally.
Masalah bukan peringkat negara kita saja, tetapi di seluruh dunia, dan terutamanya di Asia Tenggara. Kapasiti di Asia Tenggara untuk bersih dan kalori akan bertambah atau berlipat ganda dalam 5-6 tahun. Pada 2021, jumlah kapasiti di Asia Tenggara adalah 75 juta metrik tan setahun. Tapi kalau semua kapasiti yang telah dijanjikan atau telah diberi persetujuan, akan kalau semua memulakan production, jumlah kapasiti di Asia Tenggara akan sampai 150 juta metrik tan dalam tahun 2027.
Liu also noted that between 2015 and 2023, the government imposed 9 anti-dumping measures and 3 protective measures against products imported from China. This including iron and steel, plastics and construction materials, which have caused significant harm to Malaysia's domestic industry. He said in question and answer session in the Dewan Rakyat today. Crude palm oil CPO prices are expected to remain stable above 4,750 ringgit a tonne in November despite the continued market uncertainty. In a statement, Malaysian Palm Oil Council MPOC said the price increase was due to the uncertainty of the export supply and the increase in the price of vegetable oil. Although the high price of vegetable oil is supported by fundamentals, some other factors can disrupt the price surge. This include weak energy markets, improved soybean planting conditions in South America and uncertainty over United States biofuels policy under the Donald Trump administration. Palm oil prices are currently largely influenced by the expected export restrictions in Indonesia for 2025. Malaysia and Indonesia are expected to end 2024 with low stocks, while production is forecast to remain flat in 2025. Bursa Malaysia Berhad will host the 63rd World Federation of Exchanges WFE General Assembly and Annual Meeting from the 19th to the 21st of November in Kuala Lumpur. The WFE is the Global Industry Association for Exchanges and Clearing Houses. The WFE's flagship conference will bring together industry leaders from global exchanges, regulatory authorities and key institutions for high-level discussions on major industry issues. The stock exchange regulator in a statement said that this year more than 300 delegates and representatives of 50 organizations from all over the globe will participate in the event, mostly in person, while some will join virtually. Chairman Tan Sri Abdul Wahid Omar and Chief Executive Muhammad Umar Swift said Bursa Malaysia looks forward to contributing further to the WFE's efforts to shape and guide the development of global capital markets as well as to promote greater diversity and inclusion. The conference host rotates between regions each year, with Malta hosting in 2022, Bermuda in 2023 and Malaysia last hosting the WFE General Assembly and Annual Meeting 26 years ago in 1998. Cellcom DJ Berhad posted a slightly lower net profit of 436.98 million ringgit for the third quarter ended 30th of September 2024 compared to 455.72 million ringgit in the previous corresponding quarter. Revenue, however, increased to 3.13 billion ringgit from 3.10 billion ringgit, driven by effective market execution and operational excellence. For the 9 months of 2024, the group recorded a higher net profit of 1.22 billion ringgit. In a statement, Cellcom DJ said its network integration and modernization efforts are now close to 70% complete, with over 10,500 sites modernized by end October 2024. The company aims to complete 75% of network upgrades by the end of 2024 ahead of its targets. Front, US and Philippines signed an agreement to share classified military information and technology. 11 people, including 2 children, were killed when a Russian missile hit a residential building in Ukraine's northeastern city of Rasmi, while another missile strike left the region's administrative center without power. 89 people, including 11 children, were also injured in the attack on the city late on Sunday. The attack on Sumy followed a morning of Russia pounding Ukraine's power grid in what Kyiv said was a massive attack with 120 missiles and 90 drones that killed at least 7 people. The city administration said the attack took place in waves from different directions, with drones entering the city at different altitudes. The mayor's office said the attack caused a fire in a 30-story residential building in the city center. Russia has systematically targeted the capital with drone and missile barrages since the first day of its invasion launched nearly 3 years ago. The capital was targeted by drone attacks on 6 days in the first week of November and 20 days in October. The United States and Philippine defense chiefs signed an agreement Monday on sharing classified military information and technology as the longtime treaty allies deepen cooperation in a bid to counter Chinese influence in the region. U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin signed the deal with his Philippine counterpart, Gilberto Diodoro, at the start of a visit to Manila. The General Security or Military Information Agreement allows for the sharing of classified information that could benefit a U.S. ally's national defense and streamlines the sale of certain classified technologies. An official said the document was a critical step to enhance information sharing and deepen interoperability between the Philippines and the U.S. It comes as the Marcos government pushes back against Beijing's territorial claims over most of the South China Sea and as President-elect Donald Trump prepares to return to office. China has brushed aside an international ruling that its claims have no legal basis and has deployed Navy and Coast Guard vessels that Manila says harass its vessels and stop them accessing some reefs and islands in the waters. This has led to violent confrontations that have resulted in injuries to Filipino personnel and damaged their vessels in the past 18 months. That has sparked concern the United States could be drawn into the armed conflict due to its mutual defense treaty with the Philippines. A roadmap for the next general election in Bangladesh would be unveiled once electoral reforms were completed, the country's interim leader Muhammad Yunus said in an address to the nation on Sunday as he marked his first 100 days in office. Political parties, including the Bangladesh Nationalist Party (BNP), led by former Prime Minister Khalida Zia, have been pressing the interim government for a clear plan to hold a national election as soon as possible.
আমি নিশ্চিত নই সংস্কার প্রস্তাব সমূহ বাস্তবায়নের সুযোগ আমরা কতটুকু পাব। তবে আমি আপনাদের কথা দিচ্ছি আপনারা সুযোগ দিলে প্রয়োজনীয় কিছু অত্যাবশ্যকীয় সংস্কার কাজ শেষ করেই আমরা আপনাদের কাঙ্ক্ষিত নির্বাচন আয়োজন করব। ততদিন পর্যন্ত আমি আপনাদের ধৈর্য ধারণ করার অনুরোধ করব। আমরা চাইব আমরা যেন এমন একটি নির্বাচন ব্যবস্থা সৃষ্টি করতে পারি যা যুগ যুগ ধরে অনুসরণ করা যাবে। এর ফলে সাংবৎসরিক রাজনৈতিক সংকট থেকে আমাদের দেশ রক্ষা পাবে। এই জন্য প্রয়োজনীয় সময়টুকু আমি আপনাদের কাছ থেকে চেয়ে নিচ্ছি।
About 1,500 people died in protests that brought down Bangladesh's longest-serving Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina this year, and as many as 3,500 may have been forcibly abducted during her regime. Yunus vowed to ensure justice for victims, adding that the government had begun efforts to bring those responsible for the disappearance and killings and the July-August violence to international courts. The protest, which began in July as a student-led movement against public sector job quotas, escalated into some of the deadliest unrest since Bangladeshi independence in 1971, forcing Hasina to flee to India.
To On the Table.
Obviously, there are two main engines of growth in any economies.
What are the implications of Malaysia's growth on employment, income levels, and also standard of living per population?
From a historical perspective, it's been good. The capacity in our country can be built to be in the same level as the world standards.
And that's it from us this evening. In our top story tonight, Malaysia and Brazil stress permanent ceasefire in Israel-Gaza war. Do join us again tomorrow afternoon for your daily world update on TV2, or you can always stream us online on RTM Click's website and mobile app. Till then, I'm Olivia Nicholas. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. Goodbye for now and have a fantastic night.